My name is Beaver Horn, and I will be telling this story on behalf of Charles Jarocki. I grew up on a farm in Wisconsin. The Korean War was just beginning, and they were drafting all able men. But since I worked on a farm, I got a deferment due to the need for produce in America. When the winter months came along, there wasn't much to do on the farm, so I went to live with my sister in Detroit. The military found out, and they gave me 90 more days of deferment before I had to be drafted. I waited 60 days of that time period and then decided I wanted to go early. On the 60th day, I went to the Navy office in Mount Clemens, Michigan, and it was closed. Then, I looked across the street, and there was the Air Force office with an officer sitting in the window. I thought about it and realized that it would be a better option for me because I thought by joining the Air Force, I wouldn't have to go to Korea. So I walked over and soon became a member of the United States Air Force. I was sent out to New York to do my basic training, and then I went to engineering school in Washington, D.C. Then, I was sent on my next mission, Korea. Since we were going to be exposed to the fighting, I was sent to Japan to take advanced combat training class. After that, we were stationed in Daegu, Korea. I was a radar technician. My job was to maintain the station through changing the oil and doing maintenance. The station's purpose was to show where the enemy fighter planes were through radar so then the pilots could zero in and attack. The unit had to be ready 24/7 in case of an enemy attack on us. We would move from place to place at night to prevent the enemies from finding us because we were in the war zone. I was only supposed to be in Korea for 1 year, but due to the lack of help, I was there for 18 months. The winters in Korea were the hardest part about being there. My crew and I had to sleep outside in the snow with no shelter besides a sleeping bag. To keep us warm, we had snow parkas and hand warmers, but that was it. There was never a warm moment for us. Every 2 months, we would get sent off for a week of R&R, or rest and relief. There was one time in my months of being in the war that I had an extremely close shave. My unit was strafed by the Chinese, and I had to dive into a pile of sandbags to keep cover. One of the shells hit my rifle. The gun exploded, and a sliver got stuck in my arm. Sadly, one of my best friends didn't get as lucky as me. He got shot and killed, and I had to carry out his body. To keep contact with my family, we got to send letters through the APO, or Air Postal Service. We had to keep certain things a secret, like our locations and missions. One of the biggest battles I was involved in was the Incheon invasion. I was on a flight crew on a bomber plane. This battle led to the soon victory over Korea. Within my 4 years active, I made it up to Staff Sergeant, which is not easy in such a short time. When I returned from Korea, I got to choose wherever I wanted in the United States to be stationed. I had promised myself, back when I was in the freezing Korean winter, that when I returned, I would go somewhere warm. So I chose to be stationed in California. I almost got commissioned to go back to war, but my 6-year reserve had just expired. Soon thereafter, I met my wife, and we now have 8 children and haven't left California since.